This is Sarnia Lambton Daily for Thursday, April 30th. Good evening, I'm Terry Doyle. The number of people diagnosed with COVID-19 at a local seniors residence has increased. There are now 4 residents and 2 staff at Vision Nursing Home who have been diagnosed with the virus. Lambton Public Health declared an outbreak at that facility last week. It only takes 1 case to trigger an outbreak, which brings with it widespread testing of residents and staff in the home. Meantime, officials at Landmark Village continue to deal with the outbreak there. A total of 30 residents and 10 staff have tested positive, with 6 residents losing their lives to the virus. Summit Lodge has 1 staff member who has tested positive, with officials conducting widespread testing there. Overall today, Lambton Public Health is reporting 182 total positive cases being diagnosed in the region. That's up 1 from the last update. The number of people considered recovered is up by 2. There are now 79 active cases in Sarnia Lambton. One of the hot topics at the provincial level right now is when schools will reopen. Quebec is planning to reopen their public schools in about 10 days. Ontario's plan is to keep them closed through the month of May. What Quebec does may show the rest of the country whether it was a good idea or not.
The idea about schools opening needs to be carefully considered. One, we know that there are challenges to very quickly implementing online curricula for students, right? And so I'm sure that that's having sort of mixed levels of success depending on what family you might talk to. I think that the bigger piece, though, is to really try to follow the science about how much do we think that school opening would contribute to ongoing transmission. And if we can understand that a little bit better from the models or the modelers, at least we can try to make some informed decisions around that rather than making sort of decisions just to be seen to follow or catch up with other jurisdictions, right? The other big piece is to say that if Quebec is moving forward with this, it'll be very important to learn from their experience as well, to be actively monitoring places that do open up their schools, not just Quebec, to see what happens to the rates when you just open up schools, because it'll help us to combine the data from real life with the data that might be expected from the model.
Let's go to Petrolia now and visit with Mayor Brad Loosley, who joins me now. And Brad, here we are 6 some odd weeks into this. Just in general terms, how are you and how are things going in Petrolia right now?
Well, thanks for asking. I think first of all, I and my family are well, but I'd really like to start out by saying I'm really proud of the residents of the town of Petrolia. And I certainly have seen sacrifices being made by the people. But I'm really pleased how they're coming together. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and I feel there's light at the end of the tunnel. I know all the residents are starting to get tired, and we're all hoping some of the restrictions maybe will be lifted. But all in all, I think Petrolia is doing well. The people have been really receptive, and everybody's working hard to try and get over this.
Obviously, in a smaller community like that, everyone kind of knows each other and is used to seeing each other at the grocery store or just along the street, especially with the weather getting nicer. But as you said, it seems like people are at least being patient, following the lines, knowing, okay, if we can follow the orders a little bit longer, we'll get through this.
That's right. And I'm pleased because Petrolia has always been a very resilient and a very independent community. Everybody is helping everybody. We've had some good news stories. As you know, we've had a couple individuals donate their time to take the graffiti. We had a little bit of a graffiti situation, and they took their time to go out and clean that up. And that was Dave Perrin of Metal Wax and Jamie Swart. They just went out on their own, didn't ask for anything, no charges, but they started to clean everything up. But in a small town like this, you're right. And that's what makes me really proud of the community, how we do help each other. I pick up mail for different people that can't get to the post office. We go to their bank and take out money for them and help them out. So I'm really pleased that the people do care. I do walk. My wife and I walk almost every day or at night, just whenever I can. And people respect that. They talk to me, but we stay apart. They walk on the road versus the sidewalk. So I'm really pleased to see that. And I'm really pleased that when everyone is getting tired, they're still doing that. But we're all hopeful to move ahead. I don't mind saying I'm really proud of the staff. and the Rick Charlebois, the council, Rick Charlebois, the CAO, because we're preparing for warm weather. We're cutting the grass. The theater is making adjustments. We're getting ready for Communities in Bloom with the colors. We're doing all these things so that when finally this is eased up or released, there's restrictions that we'll be ready to go.
You talk about making adjustments. I know certainly during this time, municipalities still have to get business done, and in your case, council has been meeting virtually, and you were telling me before we went on air, this has gone pretty well.
Yeah, thank you. And you're right. This is we had our second Zoom council meeting. Both have been extremely well. This was the first time we had to go into camera, so it was kind of interesting, but the staff had it so within seconds. We were in camera. Each counselor had to swear that they were alone, no one was listening. And then we went from camera back into open council, and there was no glitches. It was just with seconds. So I'm really pleased with the staff and how they've been able to do that. And I'm really pleased with how council is reacting. It's all respectful. They're going through me as the mayor, but we are getting things done. And I also want to mention that the town, I know there's no public going in. I have staff in there every day. There's someone answering the phone. We are still getting work done, and we're working that in the municipality as efficiently as possible. But I mean, the cemetery, all these things have to be dealt with when things arise, and we're doing that. And I'm really proud of what we're doing under these circumstances.
And I guess that's the one thing people don't realize. Things like, as you said, even cemeteries, permits to, burial permits at the cemetery. Any of those kind of things that have to still get done no matter what's going on. You can't just close up a municipal office. And I've got to think that's where the staff has been agile, knowing, okay, first of all, being safe and obviously respecting physical distancing, but knowing the residents still need service.
That's correct. And the safety of the people in this community is our number one. We're trying to protect the people, but there is things, and I'm glad I brought that up and you mentioned it, because you're right. There is a number of things. The cemetery is only one, but there is a number of things that are basically almost like emergencies, but they have to get done. And we had our council meeting last Monday. We'll have another one again in 2 weeks, and we're continuing to get the work done. Might be a little slower. I've asked the people for their patience a little bit, and I know some of these things get a little backlogged, but we are moving forward, and I'm very pleased with that.
Tell me about some of the other stories of people helping each other. I've got to think, for example, helping grab groceries for seniors has got to be a big thing, because we've seen that throughout Lambton County.
That is, and I want to thank the Petrolia Rotary Club. I am a former Rotarian for 25 years. But the Rotary Club is working with our Heidi's Independent Grocery Store. And Heidi herself has been absolutely excellent under these circumstances, with the idea of keeping people apart and allowing only so many in the store at a time, special time for seniors. She has done a terrific job in working with the community, and the Rotary Club has been terrific at helping out with deliveries and doing all these things that people really don't understand or are aware of. So the people are being looked after as far as food needs. And just to keep going, we have restaurants that have been excellent. I know they're closed, but they have takeout. Most are offering delivery. And again, the food is excellent. I've been using the restaurants myself, and I usually would pick it up. But those types of things in a small town are great. And we are holding our own.
I've got to think, as well as we get a little into the warmer times, what message do you have for the residents when it comes to some of the park areas and those municipal outdoor facilities?
Well, again, just until things go into full swing, I want the people still to respect the distancing. If the parks and things do slowly get opened up, to continue to do whatever the medical professionals are telling us to do. But I want the people to get out. I want them to get out, go for a walk, get out of the house if you can, and talk to your neighbors with the distance. I think you still need that social part, but people need to get out and get some fresh air and go for a walk. But as I say, I'm kind of proud. I think we're on the right path, and I really believe, you know, I want people to be good to themselves and good to other people, but and to continue to be positive on the bright side that this will come to an end.
And that's a good spot to leave it right there, Brad. It's definitely the positivity. We want to bring that out and people to continue on, and we'll definitely get through this. Brad, we appreciate the time on this Thursday evening. All the best to you and your staff and family as well, and we'll catch up to you again soon.
Thank you.
There's Brad Loosley, the Mayor of Petrolia, joining us here. More to come. You're watching Sarnia Lambton Daily on your TV. Welcome back to Sarnia Lambton Daily. Well, we know it's been a time for many business owners in the region to adjust and still provide their services while following the rules and staying safe, which is the important thing. Let's go to the bookkeeper in Sarnia. There's Susan Chamberlain joining us right off the bat. Susan,
Terry.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm pretty great, thank you. Thankfully.
So how are things going? I know you've had to adjust, you know, the store hours and the store service, but I understand it's still been quite busy. But you know, fill us in. Take us through sort of the timeline from when this first kind of blew up, and you've had to adjust you and your staff from there.
Yes, well, of course, mid-March is when it all started to happen, and at first we were, you know, social distancing, and very quickly we completely closed our doors. So our doors are closed to the public, but I mean, I'm really thankful that we already had in place a wonderful website that was totally functional. We have been swamped with support from the community with online orders, Facebook orders, telephone orders. I will tell everybody that the best way to order for us to be able to handle it is to go online to sarniabookkeeper.com and place your order right online. That makes it a little bit easier on us because, of course, like you say, we're diminished hours. We're Monday till Friday, 11 till 3, and we're also diminished staff. So it's very concentrated. Everything's concentrated and condensed.
And I guess that's the thing you talked about. At least you had the website infrastructure in place. Being an independent local bookstore like that, you had that in place. I'm sure now you're thinking, thank goodness that was all set up.
Absolutely. It's been wonderful. And that being said, this whole thing has just been such a learning curve. I mean, we've just been adapting every day. So Julie and Jen have been working just untold hours on making the website fantastic. So it's always been that you could buy books off of our website, but now they have been getting a lot of our giftware loaded into it, which really makes it, you know, more of a complete bookkeeper shopping experience. And so we have a great website. You can go on the homepage. Erin, one of my staff, made a really wonderful video, a tutorial video, and I really encourage people to click on that, and that just gives you some hints and tips on how to use the website. But yeah, so there's lots and lots and lots on the website. The website literally looks different every day I look at it because we're updating it so fast.
Have you found, because of this interaction, and obviously the staff, it's obviously been a motivating tool for them and, you know, something to be rewarding, but I've got to think between them and the interactions you do have with customers, limited interactions, but still, I've got to think that's nice to kind of keep, I'll say, the network, the social network still kind of together, and at least rather than that sort of social isolation side of things.
Yeah, I mean, personally, it's been wonderful to be able to come to work every day and to be with this, you know, these people that I love. And that's been wonderful. Speaking to customers online and on the phone and through Facebook, and even delivering. We're only doing deliveries now. We're not doing any curbside pickup. So even showing up on people's front porch has, you know, a little bit of social interaction from a distance, of course. We have Justin, who is our student. He's home from university, and he's literally at least 8 hours a day out all around Sarnia and the county, delivering. We're meeting lots of wonderful dogs.
That's perfect. You know, the dogs need need a little bit of attention, at least to see, hey, there's a new human I can bark at, for example.
That's right. They're very excited. We call them the doorbell dogs because as soon as you come up to the door, dogs just go crazy.
They know it. They don't even have to ring the doorbell. They know
That's
it.
right.
So, of course, people are at home, so they want books. What are you seeing? What are the hot items right now in terms of things moving off the shelves? We know there's things, not just books, but let's talk about the book side of things right now. What's moving? What are your recommendations? I know, you know, you and the staff in the store always have recommendations. What are the things right now?
So it's been very fascinating to see what people are ordering. And our special orders are always fascinating because it's just the most interesting shelf in the store is always behind the counter, all the things that people are ordering. We're selling tons of fiction, of course, like we always do, historical things, lots of suspense thrillers, some light escapist reading. But honestly, a lot of people are getting into some of the classics. We're selling lots of Harry Potter. Everybody, it's a gift of time, right? Now is the time. Maybe you want to read Bleak House. Look at that one. Or maybe you're going to do War and Peace. This is the time for those things to really dig in. So we have been selling a lot of classics. We have been selling, what else have we been selling? Lots of nature and outdoors, gardening. There's a really great book that we've been selling called Attainable Sustainable, and it's how to live a self-reliant life and things like growing your own food. People are really digging in to the gardening and and becoming self-reliant. I mean, this is teaching us something, and so that's been really interesting. And things like craft books, macrame, weaving, all kinds of neat craft books, whatever you're into, right? This is a time you can sort of devote to your craft or your art. We have lots of art sketchbooks and art how-to. I brought in watercolors and acrylics and sketch pencils, some activity things like that. For sure, what we're selling the most of right now, jigsaw puzzles. We have a store full of jigsaw puzzles. This one's gorgeous. This is one that I did. It's a stack of books with butterflies and birds flying out of it. We have everything from little tiny wee ones that are like 36 pieces for little guys. With our most popular ones are 1,000, and then we go up to 1,500 and even 2,000 if you're really into it.
Well, I guess the 2,000 piece jigsaw puzzle will be like the War and Peace of jigsaw puzzles. You can either get yourself, sit down with that for a while, or you can just delve into the puzzle for days on end.
Exactly. And the other thing, board games and family games, we've got all kinds of games. And instead of like games that you play with big groups, more like one-on-one games, matching games, concentration. We have, what else do we have? We have Catchphrase, which I love that game, Scrabble, Jenga, Trouble, that's a classic, Bananagrams. We have a few different Bananagrams. So all this stuff, again, is on our website. People are really they're spending time with their family, a lot of time with their family. So they were looking for things to do for sure.
Are you finding that cross section where you can almost just get an order and without even necessarily knowing the customer, you probably have an idea, maybe not all the time, but sometimes, of demographic where, of course, if they're getting kids friendly stuff or family activity stuff versus maybe that big book, for example, I've got to think you could almost, as soon as the order comes in, if you don't even know the person, you probably have an idea of their isolation situation right now.
Their isolation situation. That's a good term right there. Yes, absolutely. You can certainly tell by people's orders what kind of family dynamic they have going on. The other thing that right off the bat, it was jigsaw puzzles and workbooks for kids. And we are stocked up to the eyeballs with workbooks. Again, all on our website, all divided by different grades, which makes it easy because this homeschooling thing is really come out of left field for parents who are also trying to work from home and trying to teach their kids from home. But if you can do it a little bit more fun way with a nice workbook with some illustrations and games and things, that makes it a little bit easier.
One thing I was going to ask, and you kind of touched on it there, because of the homeschooling, are you finding a bump in the need for those educational type items like you just showed there, where maybe in the past, of course, with kids in school, they would have sort of come through that end? Have you found the demand has increased?
Huge increase. Yeah, right off the bat. So we carry workbooks, we carry jigsaw puzzles, but when this happened, we didn't have enough of either of those two things. So now we are caught up. We were scrambling to make sure we were bringing in new jigsaw puzzles. I'm literally unpacking new jigsaw puzzles every day and looking for new suppliers for them as well. And the same with the workbooks. And it was a surprise to us. This whole thing was a surprise to everybody, but also a surprise to the publishers, because when I was calling for orders, they're just laughing like, oh yeah, get in line. The demand was overwhelming for sure. So for a long time, some of those books weren't in stock and we were waiting and waiting, but now they have been starting to, yeah, our shelves are filled up now.
I guess probably that's like we've seen with supplies of a lot of things in that first week to 10 days. It was a challenge,
right.
But have you found now it's caught up? Because we've even seen delivery services, the couriers and Canada Post has been a few days delayed. They're saying they've seen, Christmas type levels of orders. Has that made it a challenge just to, at first, and maybe it sounds like it's caught up a bit more now, but at first, just the supply chains being a little challenged?
It was very scrambly at the beginning, for sure, to get what people wanted into the store. I feel like we're in a really good shape right now. So yes, it has caught up. And yeah, so the supply chain for sure, starting at the publishing house. So these are huge warehouses that have had to scale back their own staff and allow for cleaning measurements and social distancing within their own warehouses. So a lot of that has slowed down. It's amazing what some of them have been able to do and keep us supplied. There's a few out there that have just sort of saved my life through this whole thing. So yeah, it's been something else. I've never ever in my professional life experienced anything like this, as stressful. I've had over 30 retail Christmases under my belt, and it has never been this stressful. Now things have settled into a routine. We're getting the hang of it. Like literally every sale that we do, it's just been a huge learning curve. Every sale that we do through online or phone or however we're doing it sort of has about 25 extra steps that it didn't used to have. And just making sure your brain is putting all those things together and going in the right order and getting the credit cards and the address and delivery and special things.
Well, I was going to say, I'm not sure where global pandemic fits in the manual when it comes to a bookstore owner, but you said you've learned things as this has gone on. Do you think that when we get back to quote unquote semi-normal, there'll be some lessons learned through this you can apply moving forward?
Absolutely. Like, this has been a game changer. Just speaking from the business part of it, it's been a game changer for sure. Our website's going to be 100 times better, and it was already great to start with. So our website's going to be better. I suspect that we will be continuing some type of delivery after this. Perhaps it might not be a free delivery, but it will be some type of delivery service, because that has been very helpful for people, for sure. What else? Things like we've had to innovate. People want gift cards, but they don't necessarily want to send a physical gift card to somebody, and they don't have to. So we've created a virtual gift card that I can email to the customer, they can email to their friend, or I can email to their friend as a gift. Or you don't even have to have a gift card. You can just put money on somebody's account and then they can go shopping online. So there's lots of things we've adapted to. I'm pretty proud of this team. We're pretty crack team as far as book selling and adapting goes.
Well, you know what? That's a good spot to leave it there, that everyone working together, as we've seen throughout the community, working together, adjusting, and making the best of it, I guess is probably the best way to say it right now. Susan, we appreciate the time. Right. We'll let you get right back to work there, and all the best, and we'll catch up to you again soon.
Thanks so much, Terry. Take care.
There's Susan Chamberlain from The Bookkeeper joining us here. More to come on Sarnia Lambton Daily on your TV. Welcome back to Sarnia Lambton Daily. To recap tonight, a relatively small batch of lab results came into Lambton Public Health over the past 24 hours. 64 test results came back, all but one of them negative. Public health officials continue to deal with outbreaks at 3 Sarnia seniors' residences. Well, that's going to do it for our show tonight, the final show for the month of April. Yes, it did fly by. May. Coming up next, we'll be back with you tomorrow for another edition of Sarnia Lambton Daily. For all of us here, I'm Terry Doyle. Enjoy the rest of your evening.